Okay, so that's the so everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, these are like all the previous weeks. Let me check where we left. So we started OOPS concept and we covered parameterized method, where we actually saved our time and also we reused our methods for multiple uh, calling purpose. For example, we saw that without parameterized method, we have to write a lot of lines, right, to create and basically, where is that lines? Let me check again. Yeah. So for parameterized method, I saw we actually give all the values directly to the uh, attributes. But without parameterization concept, that wasn't possible because we had to give values in the test method and then we had to um, write display print method, and then it is a lot of lines, right? But instead of that, we saw in parameterized method everything was in one method, and all we just changed the signature where we gave the parameter as data type and wrote some reusable display lines that we supposed to actually display for each cars. So same concept, I said, this concept is good, but this concept has some limitation. So since this is, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 types of data, and it holds only these specific 5 types of data. So anytime you create any car, you must have to give these 5 types of data. You don't have any flexibility. So what happened if you tomorrow you are building some different car, and this car you don't want to declare any color or body type or wheel number or engine number or cylinder number. So you don't have any flexibility. So if you don't give anything in any one type, you will see error because this is strict. You have to give this one to write actually your test method. For example, if I don't give any of this, you see that it is saying that your parameter saying you have to give 5 values, 5 different attributes. You have your parameter has 5 attributes. You see that your parameter has 5 attributes. Now you are declaring only 4. Please declare the last one, or what is the model, car model, right? So this is not good sometimes. Like sometimes your customer, when customers search on screen, right? For example, cars.com or usedcar.com, right? This type of web screen, customer goes and they search for specific criteria. They will not always give 5 types of filter options or 4 types of filter options. Sometimes customer will search only for body type sedan, that's it. They will not give any other options and they want to see all the sedans options. Sometimes they will search sedan and also RAV4. Sometimes they will be searching for 6 cylinders car only with color of like black, blue, or white, whatever they want, they're looking for, right? Sometimes they will give price option also. See that you can have a price filter here. So to avoid these options, there is another concept there is another concept started that will be method overriding or method overloading. So this is a method overloading concept. So this concept will be coming under actually Java OOPS concept. Let me share my screen again. Then I will go to this screen. So, okay. These loops, actually, those are old. These are also old. Arrays, we already done. We started class object. You see that this car stuff we already started. So we are now at this position, right? So far we started OOPS means object-oriented programming, basically. And this object-oriented programming has 4 important fundamentals or concept that your object-oriented programming in Java will be based on these 4 concepts. So parameter that I said for multiple type of user input will be under polymorphism. So what is polymorphism actually? So I will go to polymorphism first and then go to inheritance. Okay. Polymorphism, let me check first here. Yeah. So polymorphism means, so what is the difference? So poly means many, morph means form, right? So polymorphism, this is a term basically that your method can act in different way. So your methods will be, your method name will be same, but this method will be acting in different way so that user can use based on their need, actually. So if you see polymorphism, we already started parameters and argument, right? So we already started that how we can parameter, provide parameterized values and everything. Now, after that, so far parameterized method with fixed, that concept we saw, that has a solution, right? I said there is a solution to avoid this type of strictness or to give user more options. There is a concept called constructor. So what is constructor? So constructor will be a special type of method. This is a special type of method, and this method name will have the same name as class name. So there are some basic, this can be an interview question. What is constructor? Somebody can ask you, what is a constructor? So I will give you a demo class and example in IntelliJ. But if you see here, the summarizing. So constructor is a special type of method that is used initialize the object. So initialize object means this one. You see that? So here, right, you give all of this information. Now, in constructor, you will give everything in one line. You will initialize this car, Honda, and at the same time, inside this, you see that inside this car, parenthesis, even you don't need the second line. In one line, you will do everything. Before we saw 2 lines, right? Now, you will see actually, oh, somebody actually looking to it. Okay. Let me check. Gilma join. Oh, hi Gilma. Can you see my screen?
Hi. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for letting me.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So we started. I think you missed the first like 10 minutes. So we started from last week. So we gave parameterized method. We show how to use the parameterized method, and reuse them, declare all the values. But we said last time that in parameterized method, we have a limitation, means user will be giving only these 5 types. Whatever types or data types you are declaring here inside the parentheses, this is called user input, for example, or sometimes it's called method signature. So this one, or sometimes you'll be saying this is arguments. So this has a strictness, means there are 5 types. So if you want to use this, you always have to give these 5 types. You cannot give less or you cannot give more. So to avoid this situation, there is another concept called constructor. This constructor will be handling this to avoid this type of strictness from users' point of view. So properties of constructor, there are some specific properties. Constructor has the same name as the class name. So what we saw before. So before, for parameterized method, right? This is our class name, right? Display. This is different name. This is not the same name as the class name. So when we create the constructor, this method name will be exactly same as class name also. Class name and method name will have same name, basically. So that's one of the so I'm just giving okay. So since it was there. So now what is the second thing? It has no return type. So constructor will not use any type of like this void, public, like void or static, this type of thing. So constructor, for example, if you see, right, when we declared some method, we said void, right? This is like a common thing. So in the future, we will sometimes use return also. Sometimes we'll be using static. Sometimes we'll be using some specific data type. But for constructor, when we declare constructor, it will be something like public car, no void inside. And then this parenthesis, you will see that in few minutes. So third characteristic, it is called automatically. So for example, how you see this is called automatically. So if you don't write anything, there is always a default constructor. Means by default, there will be a car class, car constructor, and it will have nothing inside. Means by default, it will assume that these arguments are empty. There is no arguments. And it will automatically called, even though it will not work, because anytime customer want to give some specific value, that if you don't have anything written here, it will not work. So customer cannot provide any filter options or any search criteria. Like if you go to, as I said, if you go to Amazon.com, right? You are looking for iPhone. So there can be different type of option. There can be iPhone number, right? It is iPhone 12, 14 or this, right? And there can be some other thing also. You see specific body type, right? There can be small size, there can be large, right? Extra large, and a lot of things. And there can be price option also, right? You are looking for something used or brand new. Sometimes they have factory. This is kind of used, but not brand new. So you see that like when you check for iPhone on some online shopping center like Amazon.com or eBay or anywhere, then you will have always some options to filter, narrow down your search criteria. So this is kind of, so constructor will be those options that where you will be filtering actually your options. So now this constructor actually part of your polymorphism. As I said, polymorphism is a special term.
I'm sorry. I
Yes,
have a question.
sure.
Because you have different methods. So when you are creating a specific project, do you work on one project or you create different carpets projects? You divide it like that? It depends on
So
the block that you're going
you're going to IntelliJ, right? For example.
to. Mm-hmm.
So this is a project for our, for example, current class or current batch, right? So
Mm-hmm.
your question is, we use different project for this?
No, like that's the project and you have different files. So when you are working in the real life, you separate them like this because different methods, you know, this one is the main, then you have the other one that you create. You separate everything like that.
So when you will be using this type of, okay, so let me go back. So this project means, I said January 2023 QA batch, right? So for you, if you join one company and maybe somebody already created some project already, like remember we did for manual testing, right? We wrote test scenarios, or
Yeah.
we had some project, we created test plan, right? So it can be here like sandbox 1, 2, 3, this project. So inside this project, there'll be folder called source folder. So based on your framework, so you will see in the future for automation framework, this is just plain Java practice we are doing. There will be multiple subfolder, test folder, main folder, utilities folder. So those folder structure will be a little bit different. So right now we are just learning how to write Java code, or basically right now we are learning Java and practicing Java. So similar to this package, right? There will be subfolder also, like test subfolder, main subfolder, and your test cases will be inside those, for example, test subfolder. And test subfolder can have multiple packages like that. So each of your screen can have one package. So depending on your website you are testing, right? So if you testing some specific website based on complexity, right? Complexity. So if this is so much complex, you will have more subfolder. So this is basically organizing your test cases. End of the day, these folders means you are writing your test cases. These are just class means you are just writing your test cases basically. But instead of plain English, you are writing test cases in Java. That's the big difference actually. And now we are reviewing object-oriented programming, right? So part of object-oriented programming means, so one of your class, right? One of your class, for example, this is a car class, right? So I have one method here, right? So one of your folder has one of the class that will be maybe calling utilities class. So in the future, you will see page object model concept where one class will be holding all the reusable method, so that anytime you need a method, you don't have to write it again. So maybe you are writing 100 test cases. 30 test cases are using all the methods from your first 10 test cases. Do you need to write all of them again? You don't need. So if you use some kind of method, you write some kind of method where you will be just calling them. Remember we just call them Toyota dot.
Yeah.
You have to call them. You have to write such a way those method that you can call them anytime you need them, basically. So that you are, first of all, you are saving time. And second of all, anytime any change happens, you don't have to do here. Go to your utilities test class where you wrote the display method and just update something. For example, as I said, like you are working on some online car buying website, right? So right now, you don't have a filter option for price. But after 2 weeks, there is a new release, new sprint will be adding a new filter here. So all you have to do, come to this class utilities. Now you already have 5 options, right? So just write exactly same thing and add here with another 6. So that, so rest of the test cases, you don't have to do anything. Just customer can use your existing framework that you already wrote, the test case methods and all the utilities can be used also. But you will see that, I think, after next week, that how actually those folders will be organized different way so that you can reuse them for multiple times, many times as many times you need. So this structure probably is very simple format at this moment. We just created a Java project, and inside Java project, and as I said, you don't have to worry about these two, idea.out. This is different default folders. All you have to worry about source folder, because inside the SRC source folder, you are writing your test class, test cases, whatever you want, your packages, right? So inside these, I created, like, for example, those, right? So those folders, this is basically folder structure. So how you are organizing your test cases to execute them or reuse them or write them for future purpose and existing, checking existing functionalities also.
Okay, thank you.
Well, so now, so this one we already created OOPS concept last week. And we saw the parameterize method, different way to use parameterize method. But we did not see a method where user can provide different type of parameter inside, but same name. But same name means there is 2 things. One is display option, right? So now there is 2 type of method overloading. So method overloading means your parameter will be different. For every method, your parameter will be different. So now, so if I create a parameter like this, so why this is red actually? This is red because so now this is red because I don't have any model here. See that? I just deleted. So I have to delete this model also. And why this is red? Can somebody tell me why this is red here? This is very simple. This red is coming because you see that this open bracket, this one doesn't have a close bracket. So always you have to have a close bracket also. So now no more. So here, right, you see that display. These are exactly same, but internally, right, they are not same. This one has, this parameter can handle 5 user input. this parameter can handle 4 user input. So now I can go back to this car and just remove this model Civic, and I will not see any error now. You see that before, right? Before, I did not have any parameterized method that can take 4 user input. Now I have this method ready here. So I can create another one that will be taking, actually, for example, you have 2 filters, 2 user input. So same thing, I will use number of wheel, remove number of wheel, for example. And remove maybe color also. So now I have only 2 types. So user have options to search with just the number of cylinder and the body type. You see that? Same name, same method name, same method name. So when you have same method name, but different filter option or filter, basically parameter, those are user input, right? Or user argument. So this means user will provide this stuff. When user will be using this display method, user has to provide this information. If user don't provide this information, that means that you will see some red error. So you are writing the option that, okay, user must need at least 2 parameter to search something. This is one option here. So if user provide 3, you don't have option right now. So this is not somehow flexible, right? So every time you need something, you have to give this option. So now you don't have any uses of this. So it's saying in the test class, right? You already are using this method, you are already using this method, but you are not using this method. That means you can just write a simple new car and give, just separating this. So this red, everybody already probably know, because you cannot have same reference variable more than once. So we already use Toyota, we can use this one as like maybe Mazda. So Mazda, we said it is not giving any error, but it is taking actually 5, right? Actually 4. Now you want to use this one. So that means you will give just the 2 options. So we have number of cylinder, okay, number of cylinder. For example, I'm looking for only 8. And what else it has? It has body type. So body type maybe SUV. So you see that I give color. So it is saying there are 3 user input, but you don't have any method that has 3 user input. You have 5 user input, you have 4 user input, you have 2 user input. You don't have any 3. So now just remove maybe color. So now, actually one double quotation missing. Let's say it's red. So you see that now there is no problem. So if I run this, it will be just will be run actually perfectly fine. You see that 4, 5, 2. So this is actually called method overloading. So method overloading means here you will have same name of method. All the method names are same, but purpose will be different. What is purpose? Use, right? Use from user side. See that it is different user input, different parameter. So same method name, different parameter. This is method overloading. So, and this is also one of the polymorphism. And polymorphism is coming from, as I said, object-oriented programming concept, this one. So this will be actually very useful when you sometimes create reusable method. So method overloading. So as I said, method overloading sometimes very, very strict, and user actually will have limitation. So to avoid this, we have method overloading with constructor concept. What is that? We just maybe passed. Okay, here. Polymorphism, we already saw. Constructor, right? So as I said, so this example is polymorphism because this display, all three display, right? They're same name, but they have different parameter. So this is called polymorphism. So many name, many uses, but same name. So that's the concept. So now the similar concept has another one, that is constructor. So if I go to constructor now, you will see what is constructor. I just said, like, I think like 10 minutes ago, this is specific type of method, and constructor will have, instead of, for example, when I write a constructor method, instead of display, I will give the name as car. So let's actually create one package called constructor. So constructor is your next package. So what you will be writing as a constructor? So if I write constructor, so in the constructor, you will be actually giving all the variables, all the method names differently, little differently than other than the parameter. So why we did parameter that, like, we just wrote a method, right? And gave the different parameter and we just used it. So now we will be writing constructor, and that constructor method will be actually for future purpose. In the future, when we do automation testing, you will be actually declaring your constructor method same way. So I'm going to constructor. So inside the constructor, right, I'm creating one group of class. This is, for example, teacher. So last time we saw car. Now I will be writing teacher. So Java class. So Java class will have the name will have teacher. And inside the teacher, right, I will be writing all the reusable constructor. That means I'll be writing some constructor, some reusable, what is that? Variables also. And I will add different logics inside those constructor method. So this is a constructor. So since constructor is just to write reusable method and also So this class is, the purpose is not running the class, just writing the constructor and all of these variables and other thing. So I don't need public static void main. So it is similar to like before, right? We did not have any public static void main because we did not run this car class. We ran actually test class. So when you use test class, where actually users will be adding their inputs. So just closing this stuff. This one also. This one, okay, I'm just keeping this for now. So teacher is my new class where I'll be showing constructor. So before I start anything, I can declare some of the attributes. Remember attributes like human attributes. What are some human attributes? Height, right? Age, name, address, phone number, all of them human attributes. Similarly, if you go to some college or school, there will be maybe a lot of teachers, right? Every teacher will have different type of name, different type of maybe phone number, qualification, right? Education qualification. And they are specialized in a specific subject, right? So you can declare them also, right? So if I declare as like string, for example. So string is one of the data type, and I will declare several string data variables that will be used in the future testing or use inside my constructor. So I'm saying I will probably will have one of the attribute is name, right? Name is very common. Everybody has a name. Maybe email address. So you see that you don't have to write one new line string, name, string, subject, string, email, this type of thing. So you can declare string and you can declare all the variables that you will be probably using it, right? By commas, by using just comma separated, basically. So I can give email, right? Comma. Subject, the teacher will be teaching some subject, right? You can have qualification, right? So for example, if some teacher will have maybe master's degree, some of them will be maybe PhD, right? Some of them just undergrad, depends, right? Then they can have address, right? So what else a teacher can have? Another one, maybe you can give phone number as int or string, depends. Sometimes phone number can be string also, but right now I'm giving phone number as a int. So I'm giving int as phone number, 10-digit phone number as a string, right? So what else a teacher can have? Teacher can have, if you go to internal directory, a teacher can have different income. Like sometimes they charge differently. So for example, if there is a like part-time teacher going to some summer school camp, they are maybe charging differently, right? So it depends. So income can be double. Teacher can have different GPA also. So I can say double income. And then maybe GPA. So actually, instead of teacher, okay, no, you can use, when you practice, you can use instead of teacher, it can be student. It doesn't matter actually. So this is like some of the variables, right? Some of the variables that I probably will be using for my constructor. So when I said constructor, right, I said constructor name will be exactly same name as class name. And also constructor will have no void. Remember we said void, public void, this type of thing. We don't have anything. We'll directly write the class name as method name. And as I said, a constructor will have parentheses. So their parentheses will have information. Information means all the user inputs is a different signature, method signature. So now I have one method, teacher. So since this is a constructor, you see that? So whenever you want to write same name, it will say, okay, you want to use as a teacher, as a constructor. So you're saying yes. You can just directly write just teacher. And inside the parenthesis, you can actually, so this is your one of the constructor. So this is a default constructor. It will not give you any error, but you cannot actually use it also because there is nothing inside. There is no parameter. There is no business logic. So this part, right? You see that curly bracket? So inside the curly bracket, you will be adding the logic. Logic means rules, any rules you want to use. And inside the parameter means the parenthesis, you will be using different type of parameter. Basically, you want to control your user input, basically. So now inside this parenthesis, I will be adding method signature. Remember I said constructor will also have same style, right? You have to give some parameter as a method signature. So I want to use name. So anytime you want to use any of these, the rules is you always have to give first the data type and then the variable. So same way, I'm giving string string Q. For example, okay. So name string name means n, right? I can give some n. So for practice purpose, you can give any single digit, or in the future, right? When you do automation testing, you can exactly keep same name here. Like this name, you can give name here. I can say just name. Or I can say n, n1, n2, something like that. So if you use just exactly same name, it is okay. And it is sometimes actually better so that you will not have any confusion here also. And how the confusion comes, I'll display first this. I'm just giving n first. And I'm giving another one is so email string and then email as e. Now I'm giving what is a subject also, string subject is s, right? And then subject email qualification, again string q. I'm just giving shortcut. And then I'm giving address. So address, I'm gonna give address string first, data type, and then a. So I'm giving these three also, just in case. I'm giving everything here. I'm giving int phone number p and int and now double, right? I gave two double also, double income and GPA. So double income is I, right? And maybe GPA is G. Okay, so all of this declaration is done. I actually used all of them, maybe, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, okay. So I gave all of them, all 8 types. So in the constructor, when you write this, when you want to use these variables, right? You have to say that, okay, this variable I'm using, how they are connected with them. So now you have to do another, you have to add part of your logic. So you are saying that, okay, this name, right, equal to same as this n. You saying that, okay. So I'm saying now, okay, this n means these n's are same as this name. You see that whenever you declare this, this is now purple. Before it was gray. These variables were saying we don't know these variables. These variables saying we don't know these variables. So they didn't have any connection actually. Even though inside the teacher, right, you are using all 8 of them, but before this connection, before this declaration, it is saying we don't know each other actually. So that means you cannot use them actually without this declaration. So now all of them you will be doing same thing, right? So I'm saying email equal to E. You see that now email also purple means they're active. They're saying, okay, now we have a relationship between these two. So I said, instead of name, instead of like name as N, it's better to write exactly same thing. Because, so now you are thinking which side you will be giving N. So if I write something like that, right? Subject S equal to subject. You see that you can write any direction, but if you have same name, you don't have to worry about this direction, right? It will probably work in both sides. So if instead of N, so in the future, I will suggest any variable you write, just write same thing here like N. You see that? Email, something like that. Subject, you see that? So same way now, you don't have any N. That means this is name, email. Same thing, you'll be just giving, saying that subject equal to subject. Subject equal to. So that means you don't have to think about which side, what, or you don't have to worry about anything actually. Actually, this is a wrong spelling. That's why it's red. So same way, I can write P as a phone number, address, right? Oh, actually, string. This is not phone. This is actually qualification, right? This is phone number. This is income. And these doubles, right? This is GPA. So now I will just declare all of them. right? So now all you have to do, just you say, okay, subject equal to subject, qualification. You see that? Equal to, again, qualification. Same thing, right? So you don't have to worry about which side what, both sides same. You just, all you are doing, this equal to sign. This equal to means you are making a relationship, means this parameter and this parameter reference, they are exactly same. Now, I can say address, subject, okay, qualification, and then I can say address, right? And phones equal to phones. Income, and GPA. So this declaration is done. So you have all 8 parameters here. So now you can do exactly same thing, different type. So, so can somebody tell me why those are red? I copied and pasted those methods. Can somebody tell me?
Because you just copy them.
Yeah, I copied them.
They're gone.
And
Like
each
you're
of
using
them,
them
right?
to time the
Yeah,
same.
each of them, there is no difference. They are exactly same. You cannot have a method name with exactly same parameter inside. So this one has 8, this one has 8, this one has 8, right? So according to the rules, you have to have different, something different. So for example, I don't have GPA here. So now I have in 7, this one has 7 parameters. So now I don't have maybe GPA and income here, right? So this one has 6 input. Here I am giving only 5 input. Now here I want to give 4 input. Here I want to give 3. So till subject, right? So here I want to give just 2. So I want to keep just email. Oh, I'm just kidding. So I want to just give email and rest of this just delete. And there is what else you can do? You can do just with 1, right? So just 1. So now you have only 1. So what happens if you don't have anything? For example, some users come to Amazon.com and that user he or she doesn't want to filter anything, want to see everything actually. So for them, it will be default, right? So default means you have to actually say that, okay, I don't have any filter option. So same name, right? So I same constructor, right? Just you will be giving a parenthesis, and you see that inside the parenthesis, there will be no user input, nothing inside. So all you have to do, just say that, okay, maybe you write something, right? Something like that. User, for example, so I'm saying no user input maybe. So this is a default, just writing this is a default method with no parameter. Okay, so there is an interview question actually. It seems like I'm writing constructor. Actually, you see that this highlighted thing. So those highlighted options means you don't have those actually written. Means you don't have those inside the parentheses. So here you have everything, but in the next one you don't have GPA. So just delete the GPA. And now here you have phone number, till phone number, income is done, right? Here you have till address. So you don't need those actually. Here you have till qualification. And here you have till subject. And here you have just two. Here you have just one. So you are understanding, right? Why I'm just deleting those? Hello?
Yes.
You don't need this variables actually. So if I now give this, so now my interview question here actually, this is a common interview question. So you see that for teacher, we created constructor here. But in reusable method, we have some other constructor also. And so in the car, I'm creating another method, another parameterized method that says, for example, I'll be using, okay, maybe return. So, okay. I am, actually, no, from here also, actually, in the teacher, I can add one. So those are constructor because those are same name as class name. So now I want to add some different method. This is not part of this constructor. So what can I write? That will be, for example, I'm writing another similar method like this, display information. So if I want to write display information, I have to write some method that I can reuse them again and again, right? So that will be maybe void. You can say public void display or just void display information, because we have to display those, right? We have to write all the print method, right? Println, but I don't want to write println here. So void display. One thing I can do actually. So since, okay, I'm just trying to write, okay. I'm going back to original options that, okay. N E S Q A. It doesn't matter, but making more simpler. I and G. Same thing, I'll just here also. Just simply okay. So here, right, on the left side, now you can see you have the left side, but right side is not matching. And now this name is nothing matching with that also. So one thing you have to remember, when you declare, basically make the relationship between these reference variables and inside the parenthesis, parameter. So left side will be this, whatever is here. All the left side, this is like a standard everybody follow. Left side will be coming from here and equal to whatever inside the parameter. So all you have to do just N E subject, right? So I'm making this the way that, okay, so you can now see the purple options and see that what is used versus what is not used. If I give the same name, you probably cannot see actually what is actually used versus what is not used. So G, okay. So you can see now that, okay, these all the purples are used and they have a relationship with this N, Q, P, whatever is there, right? So same thing here. Actually, I'm just copy and paste. Right? Same thing, copy and paste, and just so far that declaration part, everybody understood the declaration part?
Yeah.
So this is part of your constructor that you have to do. You don't need this because you don't have address. Okay. So this is, you don't use it. So, okay. So now, and this is default means you don't have any parameter. So now I'm creating another method. So eventually we have to display information on the screen, right? So I'm just writing one more method, display information. Actually display info. I'm just writing display info. That's it. And anytime you write a method, it will always start with parentheses, right? And a curly bracket as a body. So this is your method opening method for the first part, parenthesis, and then the second part is body. Body will hold all the logics, and this parenthesis will hold the method signature or like parameters, anything you want to give. So all you have to write, just write system, right? So you see that system dot out println. So so you want to display basically name plus. So you're saying that you want to display this name. Okay. So similar way, you have to just copy paste maybe another 7 line, right? Okay. So now name, and what else you have? Name, email, subject, qualification, same thing, right? What else I have to change? Can you tell me? So whenever I'm saying email here, I supposed to write email also here, right? This is a variable. Whenever I say subject here, I supposed to write subject here also. You see that? Same thing here, qualification, right? And I also have to write qualification here. Now, phone number, right? Then phone. What else is there? Oh, I didn't write address. So maybe address. Address. Income, right? And the variable of income is income. And the last one is GPA. No, actually, I just copy paste the entire line. Okay, GPA. So I want to write another line. So remember, after that, I want to, okay. So you want to display a new line. So whenever you want to display a new line, you have a option. So you give system.println, and I just want to say, okay, backward slash and end. So this new line means it will be actually just display as a new line as a space, so that when you have more than one teacher's information, each teacher will be displayed together, not like entire everything one after one. So this method I will be creating. I created this method because I want to use this display information method for the future test teacher. So now if I create a test of teacher, I'll be using the class test teacher. Similar to actually car, similar to car, right? So car, what we had, test car, we provided some information. So now for teacher, I'll be also doing same thing. And in the test teacher, do we need main method? Can somebody tell me? So we saw in the car, right? Assignment is going after the creation of main method. But in the constructor, there is a option, right? Means you are creating a object, and at the same time, you are actually giving all the values. So now, if I now create a test teacher. Did I create a test teacher? Teacher? No, I did not create. Okay. Constructor, new Java class. Test teacher. So now this test teacher should have main method, something like this, right? Because I will be running this now. So if you want to create a teacher's name now, so for example, you have teacher class. So to create a teacher, new teacher, all you have to do, similar to test car, you have to write this teacher. It can be math teacher, then new teacher. If it is a science teacher, maybe science teacher or history teacher, new teacher. If it is a maybe sports teacher, sports teacher, new teacher, something like that. You have to basically create a new teacher. So this one, right? This class, teacher class, actually is a blueprint or template. So you saw that when we discuss what is class, what is object, this type of thing. So class is a blueprint or template to create the object. So now this teacher is a common teacher class, or this car was a common car class. So whenever you test, you create the object, new copy, clone. So same way, I will just create a new teacher. Now I can say maybe math teacher, for example. Equal to new, you see that new teacher? It's already giving you options. Now, it is already giving you not only the options, now it is asking you which parameter you want to use. If you have only two information of this teacher, use this. If you have three options, use this. If you have four options, use this. So for example, I want to use all of them. So what does that mean? So that means I have to give all this. So first of maybe I'm giving the teacher's name as maybe Charles. What other thing your teacher has? Teacher has email address. C at, actually, this is a string. String always goes with double quotation. You see that? Now this red because you need a semicolon. You see that now I'm giving everything in one line. What we did before, we had to do in 2 lines. So now we are reducing further, right? We are reducing again, making it to half. So OOPS concept, right? Object-oriented programming. Eventually, the purpose is not only make the code more user-friendly, it will have more reusable options, and at the same time, you'll have less coding. Basically, when we started first, like regular process, we created a teacher, then we gave the teachers all the value in different lines, then want to print each of these value in different lines. This is like total of like 20 or 30 line of code here actually. So instead of 20, 30 line of code, what we are doing, just writing 2 line of code, basically. Instead of 30 line of code, you are writing 2 line of code. So Gmail, and what else we had? We had teacher, email, subject, qualification. So I'm just writing all of them, for example. I'm giving subject as math, for example, right? Subject is math. Or maybe calculus 101. Address, did I give address here? Yes, so, okay. So I'm giving subject, name, email, subject, qualification. Okay, qualification and address. Okay. Subject, qualification. Okay, for example, MBA or MA. Now I'm saying what else I have? Options. I have address, qualification, and then, oh, I did not give address. 101 Main Street. What else this teacher has? This teacher has phone number, right? Phone number, even though it will be used in the future as a string, right now, this is a 10-digit phone number. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10-digit phone number is a int, right? We used also double, right? And for example, this teacher will be taking $500 per credit, or anyway, it doesn't matter. This is 0.00. And also GPA is, for example, this teacher has GPA out of 4, 3.9. So we gave all of them. So what else now? Now I can say this math teacher. You see that math teacher? Dot. Whenever I say dot, you see that display info? This option is here. Now if I run this, You see this, all of this line, right? You probably had to use 25 line of code. There is 2 line, and not only 2 line, they looks much cleaner, right? And the biggest difference between previous one, that before you had to give inside this parameterized method body. Parameterized method was asking in the method signature. Now in the constructor, right, you are actually giving everything whenever you are writing a new teacher or anything new, right? So this is another big difference. So now when you use actually constructor, so constructor is a special method also, right? But when you use this, so whenever you want to control customers activities, then you use actually constructor. But when you want to use some specific task, then you use regular method. So regular method versus constructor, right? Or regular method versus the method overloading method. These are a little bit different. So, okay, giving you a little more example. Another one is, I think, return will be important one. Okay. So creating another package showing return option. When you use return, package name is return demo. This is the package. So return, it's saying, okay, okay, I'm creating one class as calculator, Java class calculator. So calculator is my Java class. So here I am writing some I'm writing some calculation logics. So what is there? So I'm saying number 1 equal to number 1 equal to 10. Number 2. So why can somebody tell me why those are red? Equal to 5 or 50. Can somebody tell me why those are red? This should have data type, right? Number is int. That's why it is red. And now I'm saying or I can do actually another thing. Oh no, actually it's good. And I'm saying now I'm writing one method. So I'm writing a method called add method. Okay. I'm just writing an add method. So I'm saying public see that public, then void, I'm saying void add public void add number. And since this is a method, right, this will have a this will have a value. Or actually, okay, no, it's good. And then curly bracket. Now I'm saying return actually, okay. I'm saying int add equal to num1 plus num2. So I'm saying return add. So why this is red actually? You see that this add, right, will be returning something, but you are saying this is void. So void means no return. So return and void is basically in opposite direction. So you are saying here, I want to return this calculation, but here you saying don't return. That means all you have to do, just remove the void, and what you want to return, you have to write this. You want to return int, right? Public int. You see that your return will be int, right? If your return was double, you have to write here double. If your return was string, you have to write string here. So now, if you want to test this, what you have to write basically? To test anything, you have to write main method, right? So I can write main method. So inside the main method, all you have to do, just so main method, you want to you want to display this return. So what is the first step? Can somebody tell me what is the first step? So the first step will be always inside the main method. Whenever you run anything, you have to create a clone of this calculator. So now I'm saying you already have a calculator, right? This is your calculator class. Calculator is a class here, right? And inside the calculator, you have a reusable method. So what I have to do, so you see that the main method can go inside the same class, or if I don't want to use this main method here, you can just simply create another class that will be test class. So now I can say new Java class test calculator. So usually it will be separate class for like use purpose. That will be easier to see that this is okay. This is a reusable methods, and this is just a test class. So all I have to do, as I said, calculator. You see that calculator? C1, for example, anything you can give. New calculator, right? So now I'm saying, so now if you want to see this method, what you have to write here? Gilma, do you know, if I want to now see this add method, add number method, what I have to write here? If you want to call a method, what is the way to call a method? So now you are testing one test case, and maybe this is one of the method you want to call to your new test case. All you have to do, just you created already a reference variable of this class, right? That you will write C1. Anytime you type dot, right? All the available methods, all the available variables under this test calculator will be available. So number one, number two, add number, all of them are part of this C1 now. So you see that C1 dot add number method. So now if I run this, right, will it display anything here? It will not display anything. So how you can display? So you have to now write basically print method, right? So now I can actually keep int, right? For example, int result equal to this. You see that? Now you can just simply write system dot out println, right? You see that? And just write result. If you run this, you see that before it ran with process code 0. That means it ran successfully, but it is not displaying anything. Now, if you run this, you will see this is 60. You can use this method. So you are basically using reusable method. So now I want to write something else actually. I want to write, for example, another method. Here, I want to write public int multiplication or what is that? Yeah, multiply. All you have to do now, if you want to return, right? So if you see that, okay, return num1, num2. For example, I'm just returning number 1. So I'm just giving return number 2. So this is another one. So I can just simply, if I want to use another one, all you have to do, same thing, int return to equal to C1 dot, you see that? So all you have to do, just simply similar way, system so it's same thing. So this is use of return actually. So when you return something, basically you have to change this accordingly with the data type. Whatever you're returning, if you say I'm returning number 2, or if you write here something like name, for example, I'm saying name and string name equal to John. Actually, this is double quotation. So if I say instead of number 2, I want to say name, it will be error, because now it is saying whatever you are returning, this is not int, this is actually string. So now it is saying name, they're saying it is a problem here. So now you are saving, this is int, this is also need to be changed, right? Strings. So now no problem. Now you run this, it will be John. So basically return, sometimes you will be using return word to returning the value. But one thing you have to always keep in mind that anytime, okay, where is that? Anytime you return something, so that will be, let me check, where is that window? Oh, window option, okay. 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 So as I said, you have to remember this thing. Whenever return something, you have to make sure the return type is correct or not. That's the one important thing. So I think, okay, going back to the note. So polymorphism, right? So as I said, method overloading, you already saw. Method overriding, we will see after actually inheritance. So now I will, what time it is? Okay, 12:43. So I will start now another topic, inheritance. So polymorphism, we already started, right? And we kind of understood little bit, like half of the polymorphism. Method overloading. So method overloading, we already saw different type of parameter input, but same method name, that is method overloading. Now I'm going to inheritance, because inheritance will be important for future automation. What is inheritance actually? From the biological terms, right? Inheritance means it's you are getting genetic attributes from your parents, for example, right? So basically, sometimes you say that, okay, this kid's face looks like this kid's dad or mom, right? So what does that mean? That's some properties this kid got from their dad and mom, like parents, right? So similar way, in inheritance concept, when you say, like when you are like 10 years kid, right? You are a 10 years old kid, and now you are talking to your friend. You are saying, this is our house, where you live, right? For example, this is your dad's house. But you are not saying this is my dad's house. This is, you saying this is our house. What does that mean? That means, by definition, whatever your dad has, it's also yours. So you say this is your house, even though this is the owner of this house is your dad. You never usually say that, okay, the owner of this house is my dad. But you usually, during the discussion or anything, when you write your information, you say, where is your house? This is your house, right? Where you live. And you are getting this house from your basically dad, right? So this is actually inherited properties. Maybe your dad got this house from your dad's dad, like your grandparent. So you see that this is the hierarchy. Somebody is getting some property from somewhere else. So there is always a relationship. This is called parent-child relationship. So parent-child relationship means child will get properties from their parent, right? So there are 4 types of inheritance actually will be discussed. And in Java, there are 4 types of inheritance. There are single inheritance. So what is single inheritance? For example, the relationship with you and your parent means your dad, for example, or your mom. So your parent and your relationship is single inheritance. Now, multi-level inheritance. So what is multi-level inheritance? Multi-level inheritance means now your dad getting properties from your grandparent, right? Maybe your grandparent is getting grandparent. So there are multiple generation is going on there. One generation is getting properties from another generation, right? Previous generation, basically. So this is called multi-level inheritance. So whatever your property now, you can also, but whatever your grandparents' property is now, you can also say this is my property by definition. So this you will see actually in the more example, real life example in IntelliJ also. Now hierarchical inheritance. What is hierarchical inheritance actually? So hierarchical inheritance means now you are not the only kid. Maybe you have your brother or sister, right? Maybe you're like 4 brothers, 2 sisters, or 2 brother, 1 sister. So all of you, right? 3 siblings are getting properties from your dad. So basically, not only you can say that, okay, this is our house. Your sister also can say, this is our house. Your brother also can say, this is our house. So this will be hierarchical inheritance. Now, multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance means it is directly not related to you. So now sometimes you are maybe getting some properties from your parent and some properties maybe from your uncles or somebody else, some other source. So that relationship means is not directly linked to you, but you are getting from another source. So if you see the picture, single inheritance. So first I'm going to picture and then I'll go to IntelliJ. One subclass inherits from one superclass. So you see that the word superclass is another name of parent. So here, right, A is a superclass. So A is basically parent. Now B is child. So B is directly linking to A. Means now B is a child. Now B can get all the properties from A. So for example, A has 1 house, 1 car, and maybe 2 motorcycle, or maybe 1 business property. Now by law, B will be actually also can say, okay, this is our properties. So B can say this house is ours, this business is ours, right? So this is the B is directly related, and A parent, B is the kid from this parent. So this is a child class, this is a parent class, or this is a subclass, this is a super class. So this is the one-to-one relationship. And in the future, you will see that you have to use one extra word, extends. You see that the word extend, A. So anytime child will use the word extend A, that means anything A has, also B automatically will have these of all of these. So if this A has $10,000, if B use this word extends A, automatically B also has $10,000. You don't have to write it anything here. It is automatically. You will see that in real picture when I practice in IntelliJ. This is one-to-one relationship or single inheritance. Now, multi-level inheritance. Remember I said this is your grandparent, this is your parent, and this is maybe you. It can go further more actually, like maybe like D will be your kids will be D. You see that? There can be D, means this is nothing, just the name. So this is multi-level inheritance. A is grandparent. So now B is your parent, right? B is getting everything from A. Now C is you. You are getting everything from B. So now if you get everything from B, that means B is also getting everything from A. You see that by definition, B is getting everything from A, right? And now C is getting everything from not only B, also from A. So C is getting everything from A and B. B is getting everything from A. Now, if there is a D hierarchical, so is D is getting everything from basically C, B, and A. So this is like inheritance. This is called inheritance concept. And this is multi-level inheritance. Now, hierarchical inheritance. Remember I said you can have multiple siblings. This is maybe your sister, this is maybe your another brother, this is maybe you. So now all three of you are getting same properties. You can use same properties. Maybe A, maybe this is a house. All three of you actually using same house. Anything inside this house actually part of all three of you actually. You three all can say, okay, this is our house. Similar concept here. You see that B is extending A, C is extending A, D is probably extending A also, but B cannot extend C, C cannot extend D. That means now this is you, this is your maybe sister or brother. Now today your sister bought a new business or another house or another property under their name. Now you cannot say you are also part of this property. This is their property. This is nothing related to you. Anything coming from your parent, that you can say your property, but nothing that your siblings, if they have even billions of dollars, you cannot say even $1 is yours. So this is not part of your inheritance. This is their properties. This is your properties. This is your sister or brother's properties, but whatever they have, it is there. That's why you see that they can only extend A, not B cannot extend C, B cannot extend D or something like that, or D cannot extend B. So you will see that more. So multiple inheritance. So basically, so the multiple inheritance concept means you will have more than one parent here. More than one parent means your source of inherited property is more than one. For these two, A is the common source, right? But for D, so D is actually getting properties from two different sources or two different classes, right? Here is basically class. You see that these are like class. Now D cannot directly say extend word. You will see in the future, this is for actually, this will be for next class. This will be for today's class. Single, multi-level, and hierarchical will be today's class, but multiple inheritance next class. You see that? D extend and B, this is wrong. This is not the right one. This is just like you are thinking this is. So anytime you use the word extends, you have to use only one class. If you use more than one class, you will get error. It will not work basically. So this option, also called diamond issue or diamond concept. So you see that this is kind of a diamond shape or something like triangular shape. So this is actually diamond issue. This is a common name. What is a diamond issue in inheritance? There's sometimes an interview question. What is a diamond issue in inheritance? So diamond issue means child has two different source of property basically. So any child has two source of property. This is diamond issue. This type of issue, these are not two source, always single source. Single inheritance, always single source. Multi-level inheritance, always single source. Hierarchical inheritance, always single source. But now, multiple inheritance, multiple source. You can have another here, like P. D can be related to P. So for example, this is your parent. This is maybe your uncle. Your uncle doesn't have any kids, for example. Now, your uncle is giving all the properties to you. You are getting list of properties from your parent and also list of properties from your uncle. But you cannot use same concept in Java class. In the future, you will see instead of extends, it will be implements. It will be, you have to use the word implements when you have multiple parents or multiple source of property. Okay, so these are just some, so this is one of the interview question actually, and the interview answer. Interviewer can ask why this is not possible. And as I said, source of properties will be part of extend word only if this is one line, not different diamond shape. But as I said, this will be actually discussed in the future class. So I will give whatever is the picture you see here, I will actually explain everything in IntelliJ. Now, just closing those stuff. Close everything. Just keep it here. Okay. So now I will actually create another package called inheritance. So far, if anybody has any question, just ask me. Unmute yourself and just ask me. So inheritance concept. So I'm going to inheritance concept now. So if I go to inheritance concept, okay, so inheritance concept, I created a new package because you always have to have a regular class. Means what is regular class? If you see this picture, right? If you see, this is a class, this is a class, this is a class, and this is a class. So if you want to check hierarchical inheritance, you need few classes. If you want to see multi-level inheritance, you need also few classes. One will be your grandparents, one will be your parent class, one will be your class. You want to see single inheritance, you still need few classes, at least one and one, right? One your and one your parent, right? So similar thing we'll be just explaining here. So inside the, okay, since we have teacher, right, already, so we can go to same concept. We can go to actually same concept. Inheritance. Okay, I'm creating a new class, inheritance. Inherit concept. So this is my new package. And inside the new package, I'll be creating one child class, one parent class, and one grandparent class. So first, let me actually, okay, I think so. First, I will create one grandparent class. So if you want to use the teacher stuff, right? So one grandparent is, I'm just writing grandparent class. Or your grandparent class can be person. So I'm just writing G because this person class will be considered as G. Okay, you see that? So I'm giving you G here because now you can see, okay, this person class will be considered as a grandparent. So this grandparent has few properties. So I will just check like some properties that this grandparent has. For example, this person grandparent has few properties. For example, string name. What is name? Maybe your grandparent has some title of the family, right? Family title, something like that. String name. This is one property. So property means anything like all the variables, all the methods, they are properties. They are part of your grandparents' properties. Maybe your grandparent has an address, right? Int address. Actually, address is okay. Int, okay, phone number maybe. Your grandparent has phone number, and now maybe your grandparent also has address. So these three properties your grandparent has, and also your grandparent has a method void display information. Remember we wrote display information. So display information one. Maybe we'll have more display information in the future. I don't know. I'm just writing one. Since this is a method, it will always start with parentheses. And since this is void, you see that this is a void? Void means you will not have anything inside the parentheses. It will be empty. So I am just writing system dot out println, something like that. Dot out dot println, right? So inside this, I'm just giving name. And I'm saying this name, you already declared here, right? Name. Similar way, I'm just writing phone number and address. Phone number. So what is the purpose of this actually? Purpose of this, basically, you are writing something in grandparent where that will be actually reusable for parent, right? And eventually it will be reusable for child also. Address. And the variable is address, right? Okay, so this is your grandparent. And this is something that your grandparents' property. Your grandparent does not have any, for example, maybe anything else. Actually, your grandparents, okay, your grandparents can have phone. So now you'll be creating one parent class. So if you see single inheritance now, if you see single inheritance, this is your, if you see here, right? This part is single inheritance. This is multi-level inheritance now. So you just created a grandparent class. Now you are creating a parent class. So your parent class actually, so your parent class can have some other stuff. So we created teacher. So teacher can be your parent class. Let me create another class, and then you will see the relationship. So now I'm creating a teacher class. So I'm saying this teacher will be considered as parent. So before it was G as a grandparent, now teacher is a parent. So teacher, as I said, for inheritance concept, one thing you have to do. So right now, by definition, this is a single class. This class has no relationship with this person. And this class actually has no properties like this. But if you use just one word, remember I said one word, extend. If you use the word extends person, by definition, all the properties from the teacher, from the person will move under teacher also. So I'm doing same thing. So I am going to teacher and using this word extend. You see that extends. Whenever I type E, this option is always available. And now what? So you are extending the parent of teacher. So now you are saying this is a parent. So parent of teacher is basically your grandparent, right? Person. You see that person, grandparent. So now, basically, according to inheritance concepts, anything this person has, anything, all the variables, name, phone number, address, and void display information, everything is part of teacher now. Now, teacher has everything from person G. So you don't even have to write this again for teachers. So teacher will automatically use this information. So now you are saying that, okay, this teacher is a person, that's true, but this teacher has some new stuff that actually this grandparent doesn't have actually. So this teacher saying that, okay, I have a new variables. And this new variables is string qualification. Qualification. So now this qualification is basically is a variable and it is a new stuff. That qualification wasn't in the person. So now it's saying they have something another, maybe. Maybe this teacher has another qualification, is another one, maybe string job title. So this two is new for parent, and this two is not part of your grandparent. So now this teacher is using, you see that display information one. So this teacher will be using same thing, another one, display information 2 maybe, for this new stuff, right? Display information 2, and I'm saying qualification, and here qualification, right? And here is, I think, job title. Here you can say job title also. Just deleting this. So now what happened? If you think about, this is a grandparent. Grandparent has one method, display information 1, and 3 other variables. Now teacher has, by law, since it is extending from grandparents, anything grandparent has plus qualification, job title, and display information 2. So now I will create, according to this picture, I will create another class as child class. So now if I use another class, new Java class, child. So child will be maybe admin. There is another teacher admin group, can be a child. Yeah, if I use admin, and I'm saying this is a child, because the first one I created as a grandparent, teacher as a parent, and admin as a just child. So by law at this moment, this admin is a single class, and it is nothing related to this teacher or nothing related to this person as a grandparent. But I am creating a relationship, right? So if I want to create a relationship from this admin to teacher, it will be a new one, right? Extend. See that? And since I am saying admin is a one-to-one relationship with teacher, it will be teacher. You see that? Teacher, parent. So now I have established a multi-level inheritance here. So if you see these two is single inheritance. These two and this admin is a multi-level inheritance. Now, if I give instead of P, if I give this one instead of P, there is a G. What is that inheritance? Can somebody tell me? Not G. So I'm not saying this is teacher, this is person. So this is also extending person G. This is also extending person G. What concept is there? Hierarchical, right? Everybody can see?
Yes.
So for now, I'm not showing hierarchical. Hierarchical, I will just show like few minutes later. I'm just saying this is a teacher, P. And now I will see by definition, admin C has everything. Means everything means everything means properties, right? All the properties basically. From person G and teacher P. This part, anybody has any confusion? Actually, how this thing happens? Now, to prove that actually, you will create a test class. Now I'm creating a test class called test inheritance. So test inheritance. So since this is a test class, right? You need a main method, right? Actually, just removing this, just keeping all of this inheritance stuff. So what we did earlier when we tested tested other, so all we have to do now, if I want to use teacher class to create a new teacher, what is the line you have to write? Can somebody tell me? This is interview question. To create a teacher class, object from a teacher class, what you need? So I want to create a teacher class in my test class. Can somebody tell me what I have to write here? Hello? So teacher is a blueprint.
Yeah, you have to call it.
You have to call it later after you create a object, but to create a teacher object, what you have to write?
The blueprint.
But how you write it actually?
Creating a class.
So in the past, right, when you create a new object, what was the line that you wrote? So always start with the class you are creating object from. So for example, teacher P, right? So you are creating a teacher P class object, then you give a new name, right? Something reference variable. For example, T1 equal to new. You see that the word new, you always have to write this word new anytime you want to create a new object. So this part you understood? Actually, you always have to write new word, this line, to create a new teacher, a new object. Remember, we wrote new car, new teacher, new person, anything new you want to create. This is the line, this is the command you have to create. I think we also is like that. Anytime you want to create a new object, you have to write a new from class, because class is the blueprint to create the object. So creating object will be always with new. So this part anybody did not understand actually, this part. Anytime you create new object, you have to use this word new. This is an interview question, that how you can create a new object. Always use the word new. The class you are creating a new object, always start with that class. You see that the class? And then reference variable. This can be you name anything, right? So I'm just giving T1, or I can give teacher1, right? It doesn't matter what you give, right? Something that related to your class or project. Then new, same thing, teacher. So now your memory location actually now created a new reference variable, teacher1. So now you can actually use this teacher1 to give name, to give phone number, and other thing. So since you are creating teacher, right? Now, if you just type T1 dot, you see that now? T1 has address, name, phone number. But this name, address, and phone number came from where? Can somebody tell me? This is actually coming from grandparent, right? So you can see now automatically this line is true now, right? Even though your teacher does not have name, phone number, and address, since you create a relationship as a inheritance or extend word, this teacher is getting all these from grandparent also. This part you can see now, right? Everybody can see the teacher is getting everything from grandparents. So now you can just give a name. Teacher1 name, maybe something. You can give any name. Thomas, maybe. So this is your teacher's name. Now, similar way, remember, you can give teacher's phone number. See? I'm just giving random number. You can give teacher qualification also, or address. You can give qualification also. Okay, qualification, I can say MBA, for example. What else? Job title. Maybe, for example, job title, right? One dot. See the job title. Now, job title, you can give this string, maybe assistant professor. So this is your already declaration is done. So now you are creating a admin class also. So what you have to write now, if you want to create an object from admin class, can somebody tell me? Similar to teacher, what you have to write to create a new admin class? Gilma, can you tell me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, so can I create an admin class here? Admin object? This is admin class, right? So I want to create an admin object here. What I have to write? Creating a new admin object.
Yeah, so you have to write the new.
Yeah, but how, okay, can you tell me the complete line?
Yeah, it has to be.
Always
Can I go
start
see?
with the class, right? Always start with the class that you are creating.
Yeah.
Then give any name. I can give A1 maybe, right? Any reference variable, it can be anything. Now it will be new. You see that? Similarly, right? The way you created a teacher object, now you're creating admin object. You can see, right?
Yes.
So similar way you can. So now if you type A1 dot, if you type A1 dot, that will be, you will also see everything, because as I said, admin C is extending teacher, and you already saw teacher already has everything from person, right? So admin has everything from teacher and person. You see that all of these titles, everything, display information 1 and display information 2, everything is part of now admin. So admin is a child in theory here, right? So if I just give name equal to I can say this one is Jeffrey, for example. And I can give A1 dot qualification. I can give child, maybe PhD. Now I can say A1 dot maybe job title. Maybe this is math dean. Okay. So these are I just added these three. So now if I want to display information, so I have two reusable method also, right? So if I want to use there dot, or not dot, A1 dot, see that I can use any of them. A1 dot display information 2 also. Here also I can do A1 dot, actually this is not A1, T1 actually, dot display information 1. So if I run this, what is supposed to see? Anybody can say that if I run this, what I supposed to see here? The information,
Nothing.
right? All the information from T,
Okay.
and all the information from C also. So all the information for Thomas and all the information for Jeffrey. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually reusable. So now there is another concept is part of. So as I said, multiple inheritance will cover later, but before that, another concept, okay, going back to, what is it? Polymorphism, right? Going back to polymorphism. I said I showed you method overloading, right? That means same method name, but different type of parameter. But there is another polymorphism, method overriding. So what is method overriding actually? Let me check if I have here. So this will be part of today's last topic. But inheritance, anybody have any confusion about inheritance at this moment? Inheritance concept. What is inheritance? Okay, here. That we just covered inheritance. Anybody has confusion about this? Using the extend word. Basically, inheritance is basically using the extend word. Hello? I can repeat if you have any confusion actually.
I'm sure.
Okay. So as long as you are understanding this relationship and the concept of single versus multi-level versus hierarchical, that's good. So now, as a follow-up of inheritance, I have the second part of polymorphism. And second part of polymorphism is method overriding. And before we saw method overloading, right? Different type of parameter inside the signature of method, but the method name is exactly same method name but different parameter. So now we will see that same method name but different body, and body means inside the logic. So what is body actually? So if you see any of this, any method, so method overloading is all dealing with this parenthesis. You see that there? But method overriding is basically inside this body, inside the curly bracket. So whenever a child change some information about parent, so what happened? If you see here, going back to the picture again, going back to multi-level inheritance, for example, it will be applicable for any inheritance. So now parents A have a house. The house is just one floor, simple house. Now parent and basically this is a grandparent. Now B is parent. So parent actually remodel this house. This is maybe used to be 2-floor, and now this is a 5-floor nice house with apartment. So what does that mean? The address did not change actually, right? But house design is changed. So similar way, when you think, okay, parent want to add something extra here. For example, this is instead of display house, it is house description or building description. So used to have maybe 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and 1 balcony. So now parents remodel the house, and it is now, there was no elevator. So now the parent added elevator, and also parent added 1 extra bathroom and 1 extra bedroom and 1 extra balcony also. So remodel the house. So that means this method name, house address, and everything exactly same, but internal logic changed a little bit. So that will be called actually method overriding. So basically you are overriding the existing method. So basically child is overriding parents' property. So if I go now here, admin C, remember admin C is the child. So child is getting something from parent, right? Display information to. So now child is saying that, okay, I have a new property. I have a new property, and property is basically maybe some Boolean. So some Boolean property, Boolean, what is that? Admin group. Boolean admin committee. Okay. That spelling is correct. I don't know. So Boolean admin committee. So what does that mean actually? So there is an admin committee in the college or university. Is that person is part of committee or not? It is basically yes or no. So now it is creating same teacher method using the same teacher method and writing here and saying system basically, yeah, dot out, okay, dot println, right? Member of committee. Or I can say team, admin team. Okay. And plus Boolean admin committee. So this one, you see that method is exactly same from the parent. Now it is saying one override. You see that? It is saying admin actually used same method, just override little bit. So there is one option you can do at, you see that, override. So this is a good practice, always good practice, because if you say at override, that means if you are not the, like, for example, you wrote this code and somebody else is reviewing the code. So when somebody else is reviewing the code, even you are reviewing after like 3 months, you forgot if this is override or not. If you say at override, that means this is actually overridden, and overridden means this is not in original form. Teacher actually use this differently, but admin are using this differently. So what does that mean? So now if I go here and A1 dot, you see that admin committee, I'm seeing true. So remember, Boolean has only two options, true and false. Everybody understood? This is a Boolean. It is like from first week of Java. Anytime you use Boolean, Boolean has only two answers, yes or no, basically true or false. So I'm saying yes, this person this admin is part of admin team. Now, if I just removing this, just I want to check instead of 1, this is 2. Okay. If I run this now, I am just I'm just giving in the middle something. Okay, so now I run this, it will be much easier. So you see that same method I use, method 2, right? Display information 2, display information 2. When I used for teacher, right? Teacher use only 2 line of code. You see that? Job title and qualification. Same method, admin overridden and added 1 more line. Same thing. Like remember I said this one has 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1 balcony. Now admin added 1 extra bedroom, maybe elevator plus 2 bath, another 1 bathroom and another extra balcony. So internally it is changing the stuff. So this is called method overriding. So this is the second part of polymorphism. So when you say polymorphism, there are 2 types of example you will see. The first will be method overloading. That's like constructor, right? And method overriding. And this is coming from parent-child relationship concept, right? So child is overriding parents' method, or child is overriding actually parents' house design, something like that, right? So this is a overriding concept. So this is actually, we are actually covering 2 concepts here today from Java. So another 2 concepts is remaining. That will be covered next class, and that will be actually end of Java session. What is that? Oh, actually I'm going so back. But I would suggest, okay. Polymorphism and inheritance is done. Anybody has any confusion about polymorphism and inheritance? These 2 remaining, encapsulation and abstraction concept. That will be next class. And I have one quick question actually. So how many are you? 3 of you are here. Okay. So can I switch next class sometimes in middle of the week? Like if anybody is available, like
Will it be 3 hours
after-
long?
No, it will be maybe a little shorter, not 3 hours long, like 2 hours. Like after your maybe dinner or iftar or whenever you are free.
This week is gonna be hard for me.
Okay. What about like sometimes next week?
Uh,
Or
I'm
we can
okay.
divide into 2 classes instead of 3. For example, one night we can sit and discuss encapsulation and like hour, and another night we can discuss abstraction.
yeah, that would be better.
So that like 3 hours is sometimes is too much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
That
will
would-
communicate.
That's fine.
that. Yeah, so
So
I
no
know it's like
class
after
next
iftar and
Sunday, right?
everything, that will be a little tough for some people. Yeah.
So
We will do like night class.
There'll be like we'll do 2 night class instead of 1 Sunday next week actually.
On Sundays, you say?
No. Sunday we are doing it's a long class, right? Like 3 hours class. But
Yeah.
instead of
So
3
like
hours
at night.
class, we'll divide it into
Yeah.
2 classes for 1 week actually next week.
Okay. Okay.
But you wanna keep next Sunday, or we don't have class?
No,
next
instead of
Sunday?
next Sunday, I'm saying do it in divided into 2 classes in middle of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Based on
but like
availability of everyone actually. Otherwise,
But like what timing would you know?
anytime after 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'll discuss with you more actually. So
Okay.
I'm expecting by next week Java will be done, and the following week we'll start automation Selenium. So I'm just giving you just heads up because just make sure that you practicing Java because interviewers will be asking a lot of Java questions. So it's important actually. So you are prepared for Java concepts. But anytime you have any confusion, just ask during the session. So we can see the real example and you can clear your actually confusion. And also continue with that YouTube video that Pavan Kumar, Java for Selenium. Okay, so if you don't have any question, I think we can stop today because it's like 13 minutes left and I don't want to start another topic. There will be like 1 hour topic. That's another like hour and a half topic.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, that's fine.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great weekend, rest of the day. Okay, thank you.